Seeing the transit of Ketu into the sign of Leo from your moon sign, which means where moon is placed and which sign moon is placed in your natal chart, is very important to figure where the change is coming from, where the transformation is coming from, and where the opportunities created through your change and transformation are coming from. Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from my very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been doing this whole series of videos of the planets, especially the larger planets or the slow moving planets in different signs, and we are looking at them from different perspectives, from the rising sign, from the moon sign perspective, from the natal placement as well. Today we will be talking about the placement of or the transit of Ketu into the sign of Leo from your moon sign analysis, which means whichever sign moon is placed in your natal chart, in your birth chart, from that perspective, where Ketu is going, into which house it is going, and what are the opportunities, what are the transformations, and what are the probabilities it is bringing in. Why it's important to see Rahu as well as Ketu's transit from a moon sign analysis is because what are Rahu and Ketu? Rahu and Ketu are both the north node and the south node of the moon, of the orbital interaction between the sun's orbit and the moon's orbit. So let's jump in and see from Ketu's transit into Leo from your moon sign analysis, what it is bringing up for your respective moon sign. Now, those who have the moon in the sign of Aries in your natal chart. So what it means is Ketu now going into the sign of Leo, being the south node of the moon, means how it is impacting the moon's focus, attention, choices, decision making, emotional makeup, empathy, all from the moon sign, so that you are able to see where the change, where the opportunities are coming from, and where the focus and attention should be and where it should not be. So now when Ketu goes into the sign of Leo, or already gone into the sign of Leo, Ketu will be aspecting the moon with its 9th aspect and will be aspecting the Sagittarius with its 5th aspect. So firstly, Ketu going into the sign of Leo, being the south node of the moon, means where you need to take the responsibility. Now, moon being in the sign of Aries means moon is in the sign of is in the sign where the sign represents acquiring, killer instinct, motivation, ability to solve problems, ability to work for others. So Ketu's aspect of the moon is saying that Ketu, you know, that is a with conjunct with moon or aspecting the moon is an eclipse position for the moon. So here Ketu is saying you need to eclipse the empathy, the need, the focus for self and focus on others. As it is moon's 7th aspect is on the sign of Libra, which is others, relationships with others. So Ketu is saying take the responsibility for others, and for a change focus less on self and focus on others, because there's where the return or reciprocity of moon will come by through Ketu giving up and negating some of the results that are coming to you. On the other hand, Ketu is with its 5th aspect is aspecting the 9th sign of Sagittarius. So Ketu is asking you to take the wiser decision, take the wiser road, take the wiser trajectory to be able to learn from your high learning, from your experiences, and then through wanting gains for others, through an empathy oriented, through a support oriented, through a caring approach, and then get gains in return, because Ketu is in the 5th house. So what is 5th house? The 5th house is also the house of romance, of your association or liking for others. So here you need to let go or let go of the responsibility for self and take the responsibility for others, especially in your romantic liaisons or those people who you love, cherish and have an interest in. So take care of them, be supportive towards them, and try and give up the greediness for self. Be a more balanced person. Use your wisdom, use your empathy and caring to be able to get gains in return. Now, the important thing is that the other aspect of Saturn is also, the 10th aspect of Saturn is also in the Sagittarius sign, as well as Jupiter's 7th aspect. So these are adding the wisdom or adding the quality of wisdom to how you should be giving up, how you should be negating, how you should be looking at others, whereas for yourself. Saturn is giving you the stability, Jupiter is giving you the expansion and the wisdom to be able to take decisions accordingly. However, the biggest transformation, the biggest change is also coming from your 9th house of long distance travel, of higher learning, gaining from your higher learning. So here it says that through how you take wise decisions, there is an opportunity for a transformation or a change and make huge gains. Because Ketu is about a change and transformation. Ketu changes the status quo of the house and sign that is placed in and where it aspects. Because the 5th aspect is on the Sagittarius side of high learning, high experiences. So using your experiences to go through a transformation or a change through self-realization. There you need to take the responsibility because Ketu is in the Leo sign. So knowing where to take the responsibility, knowing where to make the change, knowing where to have the transformation through higher learning, through wisdom, through stability, through commitment, and then making change. Now, for those people who have moon in the sign of Taurus, which means moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus here. However, Ketu going into the sign of Leo means Ketu being the south node of the moon. This exalted moon that you have in your natal sign will have to take responsibility. Ketu being the south node of the moon, wherever Ketu goes. So there, whichever sign it goes, it takes the responsibility of the characteristics of that sign. So Ketu being in Leo, the sign of responsibility, taking lead, showing consideration for others, the sign of sharpness, the sign of brightness. So here Ketu is about taking the lead, but taking the lead in both the domestic affairs, taking the responsibility at home, taking the responsibility for your dependents, taking the responsibility for those people who are your elders, maybe your parents, any elder that you are living with, and also of immediate family. If you are not married and if you have living with your siblings, so if you don't have a family yet, if you're not married, if you don't have children, even if you're not living with your siblings, yet they are your immediate responsibility, though they are your home, they are your domestic home, even if you travel to a different city or different country to work. So taking accountability and responsibility for them and your equation with them. So whatever your equation is with your family members in your domestic life, you need to take the responsibility of what kind of a rapport you have with them, what kind of a relationship you have with them, and you need to turn around things, you need to change things, you need to transform things for better domestic environment, better relations at home, better stability at home, because through that the gains of the home will also come. The reciprocity of the domestic home will come, the reciprocity of love, care, affection that you get from the other side, from your dependents, from your family will also come. This is key because Ketu is aspecting with this 5th aspect, the Sagittarius sign of high learning, higher wisdom. And so Ketu being the aspect of negation. So Ketu is denying problems, obstruction, challenges as long as you take responsibility to give up for self but work for others. Because Ketu is all about negating the results for self but focusing on results for others. And at the same time, Ketu is also aspecting the Aries sign with this 9th aspect. So your 9th aspect in Aries means that Ketu is trying to acquire gains through higher learning, higher faith, higher belief, but in the spiritual realm, in the higher realm, in the salvation realm, in the moksha realm, which means that by giving up on the self, you will be acquiring the chance of higher elevation. Whether you attain salvation or not is a secondary thing, but you will at least gain a higher elevation in your spiritual pursuit, in trying to understand yourself better, in trying to know the relationship better. So this is a very, very potent transit of Ketu going into the sign of Leo in the 4th house from your moon sign perspective and aspecting the 12th house. Now moon's aspect is on the Scorpio sign, the 7th aspect. So the transformation is even more enhanced because Ketu represents transformation. It is the south node of the moon. Moon from your natal chart aspects Scorpio sign, which means throughout your life, you will find there are many times, there are many changes, transformations, ups and downs, overcoming of obstructions, overcoming and challenges also. However, in this transit, you will be supported by the stability, the commitment that Saturn will be providing, how Ketu will give up for the self and work for others, and with the wisdom and the expansion that Jupiter will give you. Now, for those people who have moon in the sign of Gemini in your natal chart, in your birth chart, now this is a very, very important placement because now Jupiter has already transited into the Gemini sign with your natal moon, giving you a short-term Gachkesari yoga over the 1 year. So this is a very important transit. Ketu being the south node of the moon, so Ketu will be influencing the results that you get from moon, the results and the opportunities that you are able to acquire through moon's placement with respect to Ketu. So Ketu going into the sign of Leo, being the south node of the moon, means where you need to give up to be able to take care, show empathy, show support for others. So your responsibility, because Ketu is going into the sign of Leo, so the responsibility is on those people who are younger to you, younger siblings, younger cousins, your children, if you already married, younger spouse, if you're the older spouse. So here the responsibility is to be able to give up for self. Ketu is about the denial of the self because you've already been there, done that. So taking responsibility for others. Also taking responsibility because it is the third house of effort and also what you do on your own, what you do on yourself, rather than working under somebody or serving others. So here it is saying that you need to put in the effort by yourself. You don't need external motivation. You don't need external pressure. You don't need external push. And then through that effort, through your ability to be able to influence others for others' gains, others' benefit, then you're going to make gains also because of Ketu aspecting the 7th house with this 5th aspect. So the gains that will come in your relations from others will be only when you put in the effort and denying self but focusing on others. And this is also important because moon's 7th aspect is also on the Sagittarius sign, the 7th house from moon. So the higher learning, the higher wisdom that Sagittarius gives you, using that to deny results for self but focus on relations, specifically on younger people, and doing an effort in your work, doing effort in influencing others, doing effort on branding for the organization, for the team, for the department, so that you get gains through your relationship focus by focusing on others. And Ketu's 9th aspect is on the Aries sign but in the 11th house. So the gains that you get from the 11th aspect, that to self-denial, is about you focusing on the growth and the care, the support, that empathy for others on the social front, in your social network. So focus on your social network, try and build new relations in your social network because that opportunity is being given to you. A huge change and transformation is coming to you through your social network. So look out for that opportunity. Look out for who is giving you that opportunity. Maybe somebody who you have not thought has the capability or the wherewithal may suddenly come into your life through a social equation and bring your complete change to your life. Could be somebody from your earlier acquaintances coming back and offering you something, offering you a relationship, offering you a partnership, offering you a new role, offering you a new job. So that is also possible. So focus on the social network and try and build the social network, even focusing on the others rather than self, through that making gains. So this is a very, very potent, responsible position that Ketu is getting into the sign of Leo for others, especially because of the 7th house of others and partnerships and the 11th house of social network. And you are going to be aided and helped in this through the commitment and the due diligence and the discipline that Saturn will be giving you in the effort that you make in your relations, and the expansive and the wisdom-oriented approach that Jupiter will be giving to the 7th aspect on the Sagittarius sign. Now, for those people who have the Cancer moon sign, which means moon lies in the sign of Cancer in the natal chart, it is placed in its own sign, own house. So this is a very, very strong moon. Now, Ketu being the south node of the moon and now going in the 2nd house from the moon. The 2nd house from a planet is the gain from the planet. So gains from empathy, gains from support, gain from how you are taking care of others, how you are being supportive to others. However, Ketu is the south node of the moon itself. So it influences the approach, the thinking, how the transformation affects the mind, how the choices affect the mind, how the decisions affect the mind. And through that, decisions and choices are made, which may bring about gains. So Ketu going into the sign of Leo into the 2nd house means take the responsibility for your own income rather than depend on others. And because the second house is also the house of nutrition, so take the responsibility for your own nutrition rather than depending on others. Take the lead for your own nutrition, take the lead for your own livelihood, take the lead for your own income also. So Ketu going into the second house in Leo means take the responsibility for a change or transformation in income. So whenever Ketu goes into a sign or house, it changes the status quo. So here Ketu is bringing about an opportunity for a change in the status quo in your current livelihood, in your current remuneration, in your current earning. Taking the responsibility through your career, because Ketu's 9th aspect is on the 10th house of career, and the Aries sign, which is the sign of go-getting, which is the sign of going and acquiring, high ambition, high motivation. So being highly motivated to bring about a change and transformation in your income and livelihood through your career, through your work, through your karma. Very, very strong transformation and opportunity being given to you. Ketu's 5th aspect is on the Sagittarius sign, on the 6th house. So Ketu is saying use your higher learning, higher wisdom, high experiences to overcome competition, overcome those people who have been inimical to you, to overcome challenges or people who are working behind your back. So work on your relation with them. Focus more on them rather than self, which means try and build fences, try and build better equation with them, because that will help you bring about a transformation in your livelihood through support of superior, through support of authorities. And this is also important because Moon's 7th aspect is on the Capricorn sign. The Capricorn sign is the natural 10th house of the Kalpurush Kundali. So this is a very, very potent, transformative and change-oriented placement transit period that is given to you. So make the best use of the opportunity. Here you are going to be supported by the commitment, due diligence, and the discipline that Saturn will give you in trying to build your fences with those people who have been inimical to you or with whom you are carrying a negative baggage. So shed the negative baggage, shed the status quo in the mind, because Ketu is the south node of the moon and we are looking at from a moon sign analysis, and with the wisdom that Jupiter is giving you, the expansion that Jupiter is giving you in your vision to be able to overcome challenges, problems, so that the real transformation in your nutrition, in your livelihood, in your income, in your bank balance is allowed to you. Now for those people who have moon in the sign of Leo, which means you have moon sign Leo analysis. So if your moon in your natal chart, in your birth chart is in the Leo sign, this is a very, very strong, potent time for change and transformation, because Ketu is going into the Leo sign, into your Lagna from your moon sign perspective, your Lagna being where moon is lying from moon perspective. Ketu is now getting conjunct and eclipsing the moon. But what does it mean? So Ketu takes up or negates or absorbs the energy of the house, the sign, and the planet that it is conjunct with or aspects. So Ketu now getting into conjunction with the moon, which means it is eclipsing the moon for caring or showing empathy or support for self, but for others rather than self. And others is very important because Moon's 7th aspect is on the Aquarius sign, on your Rahu. So the focus and attention should be on the others, which the Aquarius sign represents through your social network, on the equation with others. Then the gains will automatically come from Rahu helping you to be able to get those gains for you. Now, Ketu being the south node of the moon, it influences your thinking, your approach, your caring attitude. Specifically when it is in conjunction, it acts more. So your Ketu being in the sign of Leo is the sign of responsibility, accountability, and 5th focus is on the Sagittarius sign in the 5th house, which means in romance and relations, in ability to be able to make a change in your work and your career, you need to use your higher learning, higher wisdom, which Sagittarius sign represents, and be ready to go the distance. So an opportunity even may be coming to go the distance to bringing about the change. So if you're working, there may be an opportunity which comes from a different city, maybe even from a different country, and which may have a long distance travel which is coming by for you. So this year surely be on the lookout for opportunities of travel, of higher learning, higher wisdom, higher growth in your learning, in your competence also, and through that making gains, because 9th aspect of Ketu is on the Aries sign of gain, of acquiring, of winning. So very, very strong opportunity with Ketu going into the sign of Leo in winning. And when you let go and of self, but focus on others in your romance, in your investments, in your wanting to make a change in career, then the gains will come through you, through your ability to use your higher learning, higher wisdom also very, very strong focus. In this, you're going to be helped both by Jupiter giving you the expansion with the 7th aspect also in the Sagittarius sign, allowing you to be able to make the change in your career, relook at your romantic liaison, and with the due diligence, commitment, and discipline that Saturn is going to give you. Now, for those people who have the Virgo moon sign, which means moon lies in the sign of Virgo in your natal chart, here this is an important transformative placement because firstly, moon in the sign of Virgo means this also represents the 6th house in the Kalpurush Kundli. So, moon being in the sign of Virgo and Ketu being the south node of the moon and so influences the moon sharply, acutely, and then going into the 12th house in the Leo sign from the moon, which means Ketu is telling you that from where you're focusing, where you are trying to acquire for self, be in a mode of giving up for self, but for getting the higher learning, higher elevation. So surely this is a very strong period of transformation and change, of elevating yourself spiritually. Very, very strong, potent placement. And because it is in the Leo sign, it says take the responsibility of the spiritual elevation for self. But at a material level, it also means in the 12th house, Ketu is helping you to overcome obstructions, challenges, problems of spending, of income also. So wherever the challenges of higher spending versus higher earning is there, which means you're spending more than you're earning. So Ketu is giving you an opportunity of bringing about a change and transformation in your thinking of where you have to give up, where you need to keep the purse strings tight, and on assets which the 4th house represents, but through your higher belief system, higher faith, higher experiences, higher learning, which Sagittarius sign represents. So take the opportunity of change or transformation and focus on the daily conveniences, day-to-day things that you use at home. Keep a focus on them. Don't overshoot your budget. And Ketu is giving you opportunity of bringing in more discipline in that aspect. Then you will be able to make more gains. Then the assets will also be able to come to you indirectly. Ketu is a planet of always indirect results rather than direct results. So if you are keeping the self-discipline, if you're looking at spiritual elevation, if you're keeping the purse strings tight, if you are trying to not acquire daily conveniences but keep a tab on them, then the higher gains will come to you through the ability to use wisdom. And this is very important because Ketu's 9th aspect is on the Aries sign, but in the 8th house. So Ketu is saying sudden opportunities will come to you. Sudden areas will come out for you. Sudden direction will be given to you. Sudden tangents will be open to you. So keep an eye out on them because Ketu is a planet of transformation and change. And because it is 8th aspect is on the Aries sign from your moon sign perspective, so keep an eye out from where your focus is going, where your attention is going for a new opportunity. So look out for new opportunities. Through that, you will be able to make gains, maybe in foreign lands, maybe in foreign companies or working for multinational corporations. So this is a very, very potent placement. But here, Ketu going into the sign of Leo means you will have to take the responsibility for the change, for the transformation, to make gains both at the asset level and new opportunities level. And this is important because you will see that this is being helped by Saturn also aspecting your moon back and giving you the stability in your focus, in your attention, in your support. And at the same time, Jupiter also aspecting along with Saturn in the 4th house, where Ketu is also aspecting. So through your ability to be able to focus on the domestic life, on keeping the purse strings tight, you will be able to make assets through your work. So a change and a transformative opportunity coming through your work, through your career, through your business also, because Jupiter rules the 4th house, placed in the 10th house from your moon sign perspective. So overall, a time of big opportunities, big changes, spiritual elevation, career growth, relationship growth, all coming to you. So make the best use of it. Now for those people who have the moon in the sign of Libra in your natal chart, in your birth chart, moon is in Libra sign. So here, for such people, moon being in the sign of Libra, in the sign of relations, and Ketu being the south node of the moon. So Ketu will influence the quality of the moon, approach of the moon, the characteristics of the moon, the personality of the moon based on its transit. So, but Ketu is a planet of negation, of denial. So, whichever sign Ketu goes in, Ketu is asking you to focus or acquire the responsibility of that sign. So, Ketu going into the Leo sign means you need to take the responsibility and accountability and leadership for others rather than self. Ketu is never about self, Ketu is about others. But here it is in the 11th house. So here Ketu is saying focus on others in your social life, in your social network, and through that bring about a transformation and change in your gains. Because Ketu is about indirect benefits, not direct benefits. Rahu is about direct benefits. And the funny thing here is Rahu is in the sign of Aquarius, which represents the 11th house. But Ketu is in the actual 11th house from your moon sign perspective. So taking the responsibility on your relations, on extending the relationship or building the relationship, changes and transformation in the relationships, letting go of some acquaintances, burning the negative karma that you're carrying, negative debt you're carrying with some people, so that the rebirth of the relationship happens, the rebirth of the connection happens through your higher learning, which Sagittarius represents with Ketu's 5th aspect on that. So the educative, the learning aspect is on the Sagittarius side from the 11th house. So in your social network, in your connection, use your higher learning, use your faith and belief to get new equation through the effort that is represented by the 3rd house. And also through Sagittarius sign, higher learning, higher faith and belief, through your effort, focus on better results on the self or for the self. And through that, you will be able to see that you will see a change and transformation. Or people see you, how you are able to brand yourself, how you are able to market yourself also. So overall, taking the responsibility for rebranding yourself, repositioning yourself, people starting to see you in a different perspective, specifically because moon is in the sign of Libra, which means others. And because Ketu's 9th aspect is on the Aries sign, the 7th house from the moon. So the focus and attention should be on others, support for others, caring for others, empathy for others, and through that being able to change and transform your social equation, your relations. So very, very potent transformative transit surely. And you're going to be helped in this both by Jupiter, which is expanding your higher learning and your ability to influence others and put in high effort, and with the commitment and stability that Saturn is also providing you. Now, for those people who have a moon in the sign of Scorpio, now on the face of it, moon is debilitated in your natal chart. But what it also means that throughout your life, you will go through various ups and downs emotionally, and there will be times where you will have to bring about a change and transformation how you think. So, what is moon? Moon is about caring for others, being supportive for others, focusing on others, having empathy for others, caring for others and less for self. However, from moon sign, when moon, whichever sign it is, and you convert that into the lagnas, from that perspective, the placement is to focus on others. What is the focus from the Scorpio sign? On the Taurus sign, which means look at how you are providing or taking care of the needs of others. The Taurus sign is also the needs, the nutrition of others. So in your values, which Taurus sign represents, the focus and the care should be on others rather than self. And through that, the change and the transformation will come. Wherever the focus is too much on self, and the change and the transformation will not be positive for you, however hard you try. Now, with Ketu going into the sign of Leo, Ketu is the south node of the moon. So, whichever house or sign Ketu transits, it also influences how your mind thinks, how your mind will take decisions, how your mind will show empathy and care and support. Ketu going into the sign of Leo, which means you need to take the responsibility and accountability for your own thinking, how you have been able to take care of your relations, take care of empathy and care and balance in your relations with others so far. So whatever good, bad results you have got so far in your equation with others, you need to take the responsibility and the accountability for a change and transformation from now on. So relook at the change and the transformation which Ketu is bringing in, taking the responsibility which Leo sign represents in your equation with others. Because moon's 7th aspect is on the Taurus sign, which is also the sign of those who are dependent on you for love, care, nutrition, support. And because Ketu is going into the 10th from the moon, so your focus and attention, your mind should be on the career, on your work, but in a career or work or in a certain manner that you are looking at others, caring for others, empathizing with others rather than yourself. And because Ketu's 5th aspect, the educative aspect is on the 2nd house of nutrition, responsibility, dependence. So this is a very, very important transformative placement also, because Ketu is aspecting the 2nd house, Moon is aspecting with the 7th aspect, the Taurus sign, which represents the 2nd house of the Kalpurush Kundis. And so Jupiter's 7th aspect also on the Sagittarius sign is helping you acquire the wisdom, the higher learning and the higher faith to bring about the transformation also in your career with an opportunity of higher earning. So some of you from May and onwards, you would have seen, you would have got a new opportunity, at least in the last 45-60 days. Some of you may have already acquired new accountability, new responsibility, and a change in the status quo. Whatever you're going through over the last 10-15 months or maybe a year, a change has been coming about through at your work. And also with the 9th aspect on the Aries sign, which means take the responsibility and accountability on working on your relations and equations with others, specifically those people who are working below you, and overcoming, because of shedding that karmic debt, overcoming those negative attributes and building on your relations with others, and then getting the support of people who are working below you. And you are going to be helped in this also by Saturn with its 10th aspect on the Sagittarius sign of higher learning, higher faith and belief, and higher commitment. And through that, high stability in your career, in your earning, and your relationship with others. Now, for those people who have moon in the sign of Sagittarius in your natal chart, which means you have a Sagittarius moon. So here, moon being a Sagittarius, Jupiter recently going into the sign of Gemini, which means Jupiter and moon are mutually aspecting each other. So this is a very, very important aspect, because one is a temporary 1 year Gajkesari yoga is getting activated and giving you very auspicious results. However, Ketu being the south node of the moon, Ketu influences the results that you get from the moon through its transits, whichever house or sign it transits in. Being the south node, it also will influence what kind of results you will get through your care, through empathy, through your support. So Ketu going into the sign of Leo and aspecting the moon with its 5th aspect, the educative aspect, which means that the change or the transformation that Ketu will be able to bring or brings will come through the ability to take responsibility and accountability of your higher earning, higher learning, higher spirituality, and learning from your experiences, which the 9th house represents, and the responsibility and accountability and leadership which the Leo sign represents. So through your ability to take the lead, bringing about a transformation, and what kind of results you are getting from where your approach is, where your focus is, where your attention is, where your choices are. So overall, choices and opportunities are going to be given to you to make higher gains through your higher learning, through your ability to use higher learning, using your high experiences as well, demonstrating your competence, but focusing on others rather than self. And this is important because while Ketu is aspecting moon in the Sagittarius sign is also the sign of being more risk-taking, more fun, being more adventurous. So take the responsibility to be able to bring about the change through, so that you get higher gain. And this is important because Ketu's 9th aspect is on the Aries sign in the 5th house. The 5th house is the house of the 8th house to the 10th house. So change in career, change in your romantic liaison, change in approach to the romantic liaison is also coming in. So with Saturn going into the sign of Pisces and aspecting the moon along with Ketu, and Ketu also being the ruler of Scorpio sign, which is the 12th house. So the higher elevation, spiritual elevation will also come to you through how you're focusing on others in your domestic life, in your romantic liaison, and maybe you will acquire new relations. Maybe you acquire more commitment in your relationship only if you're taking the responsibility and accountability and the leadership. And you are going to be supported in this with the stability and the commitment which Saturn is giving you, aspecting the moon, and the expansion and the higher wisdom that Jupiter is giving you. So overall, a time of fantastic change and transformation in your standing in society, in your designation, in your dignity, through ability to use your higher earning, higher learning, higher spirituality, higher wisdom, using experiential learning so far, and then being able to acquire gains and being able to focus on change that is strongly coming through you because of 3 planets being in the Kendra, in the center houses from your moon. Now, for those people who have the Capricorn sign in your natal chart, so in your birth chart, if you have moon in the sign of Capricorn, that means that because of Ketu now going into the sign of Leo in the 8th house, Ketu, remember, is the south node of the moon. Rahu and Ketu are the north and the south node of the moon. So, wherever Ketu goes, it also aspects or affects how you think through that time in a transformative manner, where the change is coming, where the transformation is coming in. And Ketu is about focusing on others rather than self. So focusing on a caring, supportive, empathetic approach to others in the transformation, in the change. Now, because Ketu is going into the 8th house from the moon's perspective, so 8th house is also transformation, sudden changes, sudden opportunities. Ketu being the status quo change bringer. So Ketu is suddenly bringing in new opportunities, new approaches, new tangents, new directions you can get it. And this is important because Ketu's 5th aspect is on the Sagittarius sign of long distance travel, long distance thinking, moving away from your traditional thinking and letting go, which is the 12th house, letting go of the earlier beliefs, earlier faith. And through that, the transformation coming in, and then you are able to shed the karmic debt and elevate yourself spiritually also. So time of huge transformation and change is surely coming to you. And this is important because Ketu's 9th aspect is on the Aries sign of acquiring, winning, go-getting, obtaining, and in the 4th house of higher assets. So through your approach to go through a change and transformation, a change in assets is coming. So this is important because you're shedding some of the higher expenses that you have and focusing on making more assets. So surely this is a time where you will make more assets, maybe getting more conveniences through a transformative approach and a transformation or change which is coming in your career, in your work also, and your earning also, especially with Rahu going into the 2nd house. And you're going to be helped in this by Saturn's committed, stable approach, because Saturn is also aspecting your 12th house, so Ketu is aspecting with his 5th aspect, as well as Jupiter is aspecting it, bringing in the high expansion. So overall, an opportunity for Capricorn moon sign people, moon being the denoter of care, empathy, love, affection, support, and Ketu going into the 8th house. So as long as you care, the love, the support you're doing in for others, and looking at opportunities, new changes, new transformations which are coming in your domestic life and your assets, in your work, foreign lands, MNCs, surely a good time for higher earning also coming to you through that transformative approach. Now, for those people who have the Aquarius moon sign, which means moon is in the sign of Aquarius in your natal chart. Now, this is a very important placement, because when Ketu is going into the sign of Leo in transit, Rahu is moving into the Aquarius sign and then getting conjunct with moon for the next 18 months. Remember, Rahu also eclipses the moon. So Rahu will be adding its own quality, own characteristic to the moon. Now, because Ketu is the south node of the moon, Ketu is telling you where to focus, where to give your attention for the benefit of others rather than self. And if you do that, then Rahu will be able to focus on the material gains that you get from society. Why society? Because Rahu and Moon are in the Aquarius sign, which is society, societal network, extended friendships. So in your connections, in your social connections, working for a larger organization, higher gains will come to you. Materialistic gains will also come to you if you take the responsibility. Because Ketu is in the sign of Leo, which means responsibility, accountability, and leadership. So you take the responsibility, accountability, and leadership for the gains of others, focusing attention of others, being more supportive and caring for others. So in your relations, when you do that, then Ketu is aspecting with his 5th aspect, the 11th house. While the natural 11th house, Aquarius, is where Moon and Rahu are placed. So this is a time of transformative changes which are coming in your ability to expand your social network, to be able to gain from it. Why gains? Because the Sagittarius sign represents the 9th house of the Kalpurush Kundali. However, by taking some risks, by going all out and putting in the effort yourself to be able to make those equations, be able to make those connections and making those new acquaintances in your relation, and then being able to get higher gains from it, and higher standing in society, high stature in society, how people see you, higher dignity also. So really potent transformative time. And this is very important because Ketu's ninth aspect is on the Aries sign of acquiring, go-getting, obtaining, winning. So with the ninth aspect, the aspect of higher gains in the Aries sign, but in the third house of effort, branding. So through your own effort, through your own ability to influence others because of focus on others rather than self, you are able to make new equations and you are able to acquire and make gains through your own effort. If you are working on your own, if you have business on your own also, this is a fantastic period. With Saturn bringing in the stability and Jupiter bringing in the expansion, because Jupiter and Saturn are both aspecting the Sagittarius sign of higher societal connections, societal gains, and Ketu bringing the transformative change there. So overall, a fantastic period for new opportunities. Moon is aspecting Ketu in the 7th house of others. So Moon is saying the care, the attention, the focus, as long as it is others, as long as it is in the social network, as long as it is through your ability to be able to influence others and work for others, high gains are surely coming to you, stable gains are surely coming to you. Now, for those people who have Pisces moon sign, which means moon lies in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart. Now, this is a very important period because Saturn has already transited into your Pisces sign and getting conjunct with moons. Over the next 2.5 years, Saturn is going to remain with moon. So this is the strong peak period of Sadesati which you are in. Now this is important because with Ketu now going into the sign of Leo in transit, Ketu being the south node of the moon, Rahu is the north node of the moon, Ketu is the south node of the moon. So wherever Rahu and Ketu will transit, whichever sign, whichever house, whichever planet they get conjunct with in the transit, they will also influence how the moon thinks, how the moon focuses, how the moon makes choices, how the moon makes decisions. So now in your peak Sadesati period, the highest transformation, the highest changes, opportunities will be coming to you, both on the good side as well as on the challenging side. Now Ketu going into the 6th house from where your moon lies and where Saturn is transited. So 6th house is the house of enemies, inimical forces, people acting behind your back, debts, loans, but also relations with people who work below you. So Ketu is telling you, if you want to overcome problem, challenges and inimical forces or people who are working with you or below you to become enemies, so bring in the transformation in how you think, how you act. If you have any negative baggage with people, let go of it. And you take the responsibility and accountability for it. Why responsibility and accountability? Because Ketu has gone into the sign of Leo, which is about leadership, which is about accountability, which is about responsibility, being ruled by Sun. So if you're taking the responsibility and accountability for the change in your equation with your colleagues and with people who work below you, then your career is going to go through a transformation and change and make gains. Ketu's 5th aspect is on the 9th sign of Sagittarius, which is also the 9th house of the Kalpurush Kundli. So high gains are coming to you through your ability to bring in a transformation of how you're working with others, which is very, very important. And this is even critical because now you are in peak Sadesati period. And with Ketu's 9th aspect is on the 2nd house of higher earning, higher livelihood, better remuneration, but in the sign of Aries, which is a sign of go-getting, acquiring, obtaining. So the 9th aspect of gains and higher equation, higher learning, using experiential learning in the Aries sign is to go and acquire higher earning, gain higher livelihood, gain better bank balance through your ability to focus on career, through you being able to get better connections at your work level with people who work below you, and through that influence your superiors, influence the people who you work with, and then through that getting the recognition and getting the appreciation and then being able to bring about a change. However, keep in mind that the change can be either for the good or bad, so do your due diligence properly, because both Jupiter as well as Saturn are aspecting your 10th house of career. So whatever result that you get now, over the next 2.5 years, you will not be able to change. So the transformation which is being given to you, the opportunity of change which is being given to you, use it very, very well. Especially because Moon and Saturn both aspecting your 6th sign in the Kalpurush Kundli, and Ketu is placed in the 6th house on the Kalpurush in the moon sign, from moon sign perspective. So 6th house, people who are working inimical forces are strongly getting activated. So use your ability to be able to transform the equation, transform the characteristic, transform your approach to work with them, and then be able to make gains in your career, where the opportunity surely coming to you. So friend, now that we have seen how Ketu's transit into the Leo sign from the moon sign analysis, From your moon sign perspective, where moon lies in your natal chart, is throwing up new opportunities for you, new challenges for you, but new changes also for you. Make the best use of this transformative period by focusing on where you need to let go and where you need to focus on to be able to make decisions and being able to make the best use of the opportunity. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.